Hello everyone, my name is Babette Mais. I'm current president with SI Bidwell Venture and I'm also your social media coordinator for the Sierra Nevada region. Today we want to talk about Zoom, some of the features on Zoom and how to record with Zoom. So let's get started. Let's open Zoom on your desktop or laptop or any other device, and right here you see my profile picture. I have paid for an account. If you have the basic account and just sign up under the basics, you can only have 40 minutes and up to only 3 participants. So I have signed up for, I think it's $14.99 or 95, and you can have a capacity of 100 in the meeting. So this is where you will see your personal ID number right over here. That is always the same number, and that is the number that will be forwarded as you set up meetings. That's the number to share with your participants, maybe with your club members. Over here under meetings, you can schedule a meeting right here by clicking on that blue little bar there. You can have a topic for that meeting, maybe a speaker meeting, maybe it's a meeting about social media, or maybe it's a meeting about treasury. Then you can have an optional description, the date, the time, the duration of the meeting, the time zone, registration, is it required to register for it? And then you can have an automatically generated meeting ID or your personal ID number that I just showed you earlier, which I have set to the personal ID number anytime. Meeting password, Zoom just changed their privacy settings and security settings, so it is a good idea to require a meeting password, and you can enter that right here. For each meeting, you can change the password. You want videos for the host and the participants on. I always set the audio that we can have the capability of people just dialing in, or certainly use it from the computer audio. Meeting option, enable join before host. So yes, people can come in before you if they're early. And so you can change a couple things. So you can enable a waiting room that will you'll be able to have to let them all in. And then record the meeting automatically. We're going to take that out. It's going to go onto the computer, but I don't want it automatically. I want to be able to set that record and start the record myself. If you would have an alternate host, you would put their email right here, and they will also be able to host and have all these options to use as they're hosting, stop recording, start recording, and so forth. So then you would click save. If you wanted to set up that meeting, the topic is required, and obviously, but we are not going to set up a meeting. I just wanted to set you through that. So then here you can set up a webinar, and here are your recordings. There will be right here. You can delete them from right here if you wanted to, or you can save them. I'm going to delete these two. They are previous meetings we don't need. Okay, those are cloud recordings. I have generally chosen to record onto the local recording right away. I'm right now going to take these out as well to show you how to get fresh started. So here you would find your recordings right here. You can find them by searching via date. So into the settings now, and in the settings, you can have some changes onto the meeting, the security, the scheduling of the meeting, the basic and the advanced in-meeting settings. So there's where you change that. You can also change right here the recording. I have chosen to record locally onto my computer because I have been running out of cloud space, and I like to keep some of the recordings on the computer, and I can send them and email them from there. So I want to have that capability. Cloud recording is also right here, and you can change that if you wanted to as well. So if it automatically records, it goes right onto my local computer. But I want to turn that off. I don't want automatic recording. I want to be able to start pause and stop by myself. So I'm going to take that off. And those are all the points for the settings. So let's minimize that and open the Zoom app. This looks very similar on some of your smart devices. You have the new meeting where you can start a meeting right away and invite participants to it. You can join a meeting right here. You need that personal ID number, and then have the options to not connect to audio and turn your video off. So if you want those automatically to start, you keep this open and then click join. You can also have the option of share your screen, and here is an option of scheduling a meeting. Right over here on this screen, you usually see the upcoming meetings that have been scheduled. And right now we have nothing scheduled, so you don't see anything on my schedule there. Up here is a little wheel. That's the little settings wheel directly on your device. And again, you have general settings. You can change some of the general settings right here. Dual monitor use, enter full screen when starting or joining a meeting, automatically copy invite link once the meeting starts, ask me to confirm when I leave, show the meeting duration, and then add Zoom to the Mac OS menu bar. And then stop my video and audio when my display is off or screensaver begin, and then remind me before upcoming meetings. So if you wanted a reminder set, you can click this and you can get a reminder 5, 10, or 15 minutes ahead of time. And there's a thumb up button option, and you can actually change that. If you wanted to change more settings, you would click here and it would take you back to this screen over here. And that's where you change more specific settings. Here's the video setting where you can check on the video. Widescreen original ratio, you can change a couple appearances, how it will look like in the meetings. Here you can check your audio, you test the speaker and you test your mic. Here's your share screen settings, your chat settings. Here's a virtual background, and that's kind of fun. You can either have no virtual background and everybody will see where you're sitting. Like in my case, I'm sitting in my office and you can see my crates of my dogs right in the back. Or if you don't want that, Zoom gives you some options. They give you the Great San Francisco Bridge or some grass, or you can sit in space. I've loaded up a couple Soroptimist pictures. That's kind of fun. And you can change that setting as you go along, and then people will just look at that instead of your background in the room you're sitting at. They're kind of fun. And here's the recording button. Now, you want your recording stored onto the local recording, onto your computer. You can decide right here. I have created a Zoom recordings location. You can choose a different location if you wanted to. Let's keep the Zoom recording for right now and choose that. And keep it there. So everything will record to my desktop under Zoom recordings. You can choose a location to save the recording to after the meeting ends. So each time you could change the location. I'm going to keep that open. I want everything to go to my Zoom recordings. You can have a separate file for each participant. I would recommend that only for podcasts or for interviews, or maybe if you have a speaker and you just want the speaker recorded audio file, maybe go to some of your club members so you can enable it right here. You can optimize for third-party video editor. It's a standard formula that is compatible with third-party video editors, and this sometimes increases the file size, so I wouldn't touch this. It's always okay to add a timestamp to your recordings, and then certainly make sure that it records also during screen sharing time. So if members watch that later, they see what you shared and can follow the meeting a little bit better. So we're going to keep these settings. I like them like that. A couple other options is here's your profile. From right here, you can change your profile. You can edit it. You can see some of the advanced features, and you change your subscription. From right here, you can also add or change a picture. It would all take you back to this side right here if I enable any of those. So on the main setup Zoom page. Here's the statistics available, you could see, of your sharing overall audio, video, and screen sharing time. There is some feedback going to Zoom. Keyboard shortcuts, you can actually change some of these or add some more. So if you're using your keyboard, you can use those. And then accessibility, again, settings right here. Okay, so now that we have everything set up, we're going to go to a new meeting, and we're going to go right to the meeting right now. Here we go. And we're going to enable the recording ourselves. So now we're on Zoom, we're in a meeting, and while we wait for our participants, we're just going to go through a couple things here. Here is your mute button right at the bottom, your stop video button. There's video goes away and it shows usually your profile picture. If I start that again, here we go. There's security settings. Over here in participants, this pops open the window and it shows everybody coming into the meeting. If you have a meeting room enabled, they will show up here and they will wait for you to enable them to come in. So I would open that participant window for sure at the beginning of the meeting and make sure you let everybody into the meeting. Here's a chat window, so you can have the chat window underneath and the participant right on the same size. It just goes in half. If I click that participant window again, it would go away and you only have the chat left. And you're able to chat with everybody from here. If you have a message in between, you could type right here and then it would show up here on the chat side. At the end, you could do some polling. You could ask the question right here and then it would enable a question and we could set that and, you know, here we go, enter a title for the poll and then get a question right there during your meeting. So that's another option for you to use if you wanted to. And here's our record button. So we're going to hit that in a minute. And then here you have reactions. If you like something, you can click on that and it will pop up there on the left-hand top corner, a thumbs up or clapping of the hands. There we go. So let's click record. Remember, we decided to record onto the computer and not onto the cloud. I just am running out of cloud space. So we're going to record on the computer. And the meeting starts recording. Up here you can see the record button. You're able to pause the record. I would recommend that as you're waiting in for participants to come in. And when you're ready to go, just press resume and the meeting will record and you could see it right up here. So you can change recording, stopping, pausing, starting back up here on the left-hand side, as well as right down here. And you just keep recording. And if you have screen sharing enabled right here, you can share your screen. You would click on that. And you can set the certain settings again. If you haven't done it before, you can change your settings here. If you click on screen share, you have the option now to change share your whole desktop or different capabilities of sharing. So I usually share the desktop and then I can pull stuff off the desktop. So that's probably the best section right there. If you have a whiteboard, you wanted to share that and you can write on the whiteboard. So let's turn that off. And let's stop our recording. Click up here, stop recording. The recording file now will be converted to an MP4 when the meeting ends. So right now let's click meeting end and end it for all. And here we go, the meeting is converting into an MP4 file. It doesn't take very long, it's not a very long meeting right now. So it just converts. And you can see it already in my file, so it's already right here. So remember it was on my desktop and it was under Zoom file. So let's find that file. Zoom recordings right here. Open that up. And there is our Zoom recording right here. It's opening up. There's a timestamp as we had set on the computer. And there's our meeting. You can share that meeting from here. Now you can right click on your desktop and you'll be able to share that meeting via email right here, or message even. Or if you have an email, you pull it as a file into your computer, from your computer, and share that Zoom meeting. Okay, that is how you use the recording on Zoom. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me under social media at soroptimistsnr.org, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions and help you with some of the troubles you have.